All right, let me give you an example. When you start putting up huge cathedrals that you can go visit now all over Europe, right? Probably visited some of those. Massive architectural amazement. When you go visit those cathedrals had to be paid for. And so the ecclesiology of the church said, we have to keep the financial engine of the church running to pay for these buildings. That's the mission. And that determined what would be taught about Jesus. Some really wild things like indulgences where you could, pay for your sins in advance. So you could be forgiven in advance. And that was a great way to raise money for the church. Some of you, don't walk out of here trying that. That's not what we want you to take away. The second thing it did was, as the church grew in size, it gained in influence, and it started getting in bed with the political realm, the government. And positions of power in the church began to be bought and sold and presented as gifts in the political arena. And so instead of the local church, the followers of Jesus, it's living out their lives through the local church being the hope of the world, now people started putting their hope and their faith in the government legislating Christianity. And it just didn't work in 325 AD because Jesus is the hope of the world, not the government. And then finally, as the church continued to grow and those massive cathedrals were put up in the town center and everybody was coming, a very bright entrepreneurial young person said, people are coming from all around to the church. We should have a market on the weekend as well. And so they started having the market, and they literally put the market around the cathedral, around the big building, so they could become a provider of services, and so people could come buy their bananas and be baptized all in one stop. It was amazing. It was a great way to raise even more money to tax that for the church as well. And so consumerism surrounded the church structure as a provider of services. Now, thank God, we don't deal with any of that today, right? You see, friends, this is why this theology stuff is so important. I believe the same malaise that happened as a result of Constantinian Christianity is still alive and well in the Western church, and specifically in the United States of America in our churches, most churches.